Hello, my name is Lori Patterson, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to be working with fragments and reticula. And first thing I'm going to do is appreciate the tile, appreciate the time that I have that I can draw, because that's part of the Zentangle way, part of the meditation, the way to get relaxed and ready to begin tangling on your tile. The next thing you can see I did was put dots in each corner, and now I'm drawing a line between those dots. This gives my piece a border, kind of a constraint place for me to draw, and fewer choices I might have to make. For this drawing, I'm using a spiral. Possibly it could be Marisu, which is one of the tangles. And my spiral isn't particularly round or perfect, but that doesn't matter. Next thing I'm going to do is draw parallel lines, and it's easiest for me to draw towards me. And I'm going to go all the way around the spiral, drawing those parallel lines in various distances apart as I go around, and fill in the parallel lines by coloring it black. Most of this video is done, I've sped it up 20 times faster, otherwise this video would be an hour long, and you don't need to watch me in real time for each of the stages or steps of this tangle. And as you see, I'm leaving a small gap in between the lines, filling it in, trying to remember to draw very slowly, which at this point I'm not. And Zentangle is a great practice for me to learn to slow down. I tend to move quickly, I tend to speak quickly, and so this is my way of learning to slow down. As you can see here, I have sped up the playback at 20 times faster. If I didn't do that, as I said, this video would be an hour long. And you can adjust the playback, or you can pause if you're drawing along with me, as you need to. At this point, I am back to real time, because I'm nearly done with this part of the tangle. As you can see, I have gone all the way around with vertical or straight lines from one piece of the spiral to the next. And what I've done is I've created a fragment, a piece that I can do something with. All those sections in the Zentangle vernacular, we call those fragments. And I'm going to fill those fragments with what we call reticula. If you happen to have purchased or have a copy of the Zentangle Primer number 1, there is a section that talks all about reticulas and fragments, and they have labeled each of those kinds of reticula and fragments. And then there's a little book that's just samples of CZT, Certified Zentangle Teachers, that have done a tile with those particular reticulas. And here's a sample of it. And that's the reticula I'm using. And it even says there, the fragment is an A2 fragment, meaning it's square. The reticula is RA1. And there's a grid in the primer that shows what those all those different reticulas are. And so for this one, I'm going to draw an arc from corner to corner in all the way around this particular fragment, all the way around this squarish shape. And I try, although I don't always succeed, to do the same stroke in the same place, in the same direction each time. That gets me into a particular rhythm and helps me get into that meditative state. Again, I'm trying to draw slowly, corner to corner, retracing some of those lines. And I'm putting about 3 of those arcs on each side. And in a moment, this will be sped up again, because you kind of get the idea. At one point, you'll see I am on a pink background, which is a silicone mat, and it's hard for me to easily turn the tile. And I'm always turning the tile so I can draw in that same stroke each time. Oops, and I made a little mistake there. That's what happens when you don't go slow. You want to think and watch about one stroke at a time, which is Zentangle's byline. You can do anything, one stroke at a time. You don't need to think about anything but the one stroke that you're currently drawing. I was counting there to make sure that I had the same amount on each one. And that one, as you see, I didn't draw in the same orientation. I kind of drew backwards, if you will. All right, here it's sped up. And you can see I'm just doing the same thing over and over. Notice that I no longer have the pink background. This is just like a Formica top on my desk, and it slides easy. The tile slides easy as I'm trying to turn it. Again, you can slow this down with the YouTube tools if this is going too fast. And I'm back to real time now. And I'm making decisions on how I'm going to fill in fragments that are only partially visible. But because I've done the same stroke each time, I have a pretty good idea what I'm trying to accomplish. And I'm switching to a fatter pen. This is an 08. Well, not for that little bitty square that I'm going to fill in first, but because I'm going to be filling all those empty spaces with black, I wanted a fatter pen so it would go quicker. Going slowly, making sure that I stay within the lines. Zentangle is not something that you want to do in a hurry. You're just enjoying the process. If at the end you come out with an interesting tile, something that you enjoy looking at, that's wonderful. But that is not necessarily the purpose of the drawing. The idea of Zentangle and their philosophy is to get into a relaxed, meditative state. And there has been some research done of how people have been healthier, helped them with their maybe difficult situations by using Zentangle as a practice, as a meditative practice. There are plenty of people that do it because they think it's pretty, and maybe they don't spend the time it takes to be meditative with it. And to tell you the truth, when I do Zentangle, I don't always try to get in the meditative state. But when I'm doing a particular practice, I do try to go slow. Sometimes I do it just for fun, just to see what pretty design I can make. One nice thing about Zentangle, when you're all done and then you put the shading in, however much you think when you're working on it it's awful looking, you can't stand it, once you're done, you hold it at a distance, you step back, you look at it, and you think, oh my gosh, I did that. Wow. Right now I'm shaking it because I'm trying to dry the ink, because I'm going to be putting shading over the top. And that 08 pen is, full of ink, and it takes a moment for the black to dry. And then in good practice, we always sign the back with a piece of artwork that you want to put your signature on, and then date it. I was double checking my Apple Watch to make sure I had the right date. Again, I'm just shaking it to try to dry it. And then I'm testing to make sure. And I apologize that I keep pulling the tile down as I'm drawing closer to me, and then it gets off, it gets off the screen. I keep trying to look and make sure to push it back up. But what I'm going to do here is, well, push it back up so you can see it, come on, is put some graphite where, in the corners where those lines met. Come on, push it up. And then I've got the tortillon off to the side there that I'm going to use to blend it out. This is a tan tile, and the tan tiles tend to be a little more fragile than the white ones. So the fibers kind of take a beating when you're putting the graphite down and then rubbing it with the tortillon. So you need to be a little careful. I think what I'm doing as I'm drawing, because the whole tile is not up on the screen, and I do apologize for that. I'm peeking over and looking to see if at least what I'm drawing is on the screen. When I do another one, I need to remember to pull the camera closer to me so that I'm drawing under the camera lens a little better. The problem is if I get it too close to me, then my head will be in the way, or that I'll keep bumping the camera with my head as I'm drawing. So I'm still learning the technical piece of this. Now I've got my tortillon, and I'm just going to gently blend that graphite into the paper to give some shadow. Yeah, it's the fibers of it, the paper is kind of pilling up, so I keep trying to sweep. In a minute you'll see I'll get a dry paintbrush basically to kind of sweep away the fibers. I like working on the tan tiles because you can add not only the graphite, but you can add color, or especially the white chalk pencils or the white jelly rolls, which makes the shadows and the highlights stand out a whole lot more. I got a different tortillon, hoping that wouldn't be so rough on the paper. Should have sped this part up too. It's I say the tile, this whole process took me about an hour. So if this was all in real time, it would be about an hour long, and I did get it down to 26 minutes or so. I've had, oh, there's the paintbrush, trying to brush the fibers away. I've had some people comment that they appreciate that it's in real time. And I suppose it could go the other way. I could do the whole thing in real time and then you could speed it up. But I thought doing kind of a combination of speeding up when it's so repetitive and then you can slow it down. I thought that would be a good compromise. Sometimes there's enough graphite on the tortillon that I don't even need to add any more to the paper. There's enough on the tortillon to give it a sufficient shadow. Yeah, I was looking for my white pencil. I finally did get the tile up on the screen a little better. So I'm imagining where there would be highlights on this piece. And there, with Zentangle, there really is no right or wrong way. It's just whatever you feel like doing. We don't concentrate a lot on where the source of light would be. I know as I was drawing this, I'd look over at the camera and I could see it looked nicer in the camera than it did in person, to tell you the truth. And I could kind of visualize better where highlights might be or where more shadows would be. And then you'll see as I go along that I added some color to it too. I have quite a few different colors of the General's chalk pencils, different colors of that, and that's added. Oh, it slipped off the screen again, didn't I? I'm just very lightly blending the chalk in. That particular tortillon I tried to leave only for white because the tortillon gets dirty, especially if you're using it with black, with the graphite, but it'll get dirty if you use it with, you're blending the chalk pencils in green or blue or yellow or whatever color. So I try to save one that's just for the white. And then when that gets dirty, I use it for the graphite and get a new one for the white. When I did the highlight for these particular ones, it kind of emphasizes the spiral. The white going around emphasizes the spiral, which I thought was pretty cool. And then I get down there eventually to the center and I think, what am I going to do with that empty spot? Yeah, you can see the spiral going around there with the white. And there are my General's chalk pencils. I think I chose a yellow. Yep. Canary yellow. And at first I just did it on either side of the white, and then I kind of blended it out and added some more. Again, I apologize for being off the screen. Yeah, that's where I did it, right there. You can sort of see the yellow there. It's very subtle, but all the subtleties add up and makes for an interesting tile. I thought about adding one of the dark blues in the shadows. I've done that before, and I like that. I have a dark blue, indigo or something like that, and that makes a good shadow, but I didn't. I just added the yellow. When your pattern goes off the page, you want to try to imagine what it would look like or how it would go if the page didn't end there. So you imagine and you draw it as though it would extend off the page. It can be tricky, but that's what I try to do anyway. Almost done, not quite. I might be looking for, I added sap green. I had forgotten. Ah, on the other pieces, on either side of the other pieces of the white chalk pencil. Sap green and the canary yellow are analogous, and they blend nice. Even though I'm not actually blending the two together, the two colors look nice on the tile together. I say it's very subtle, but you can tell that there's a little more color. Of course, the hard part is finding all the spots. I'm sure I've missed some. I have found that the chalk pencils blend very nicely with the graphite, and nicely with the white chalk pencil too. And the last thing that we're going to do is put our chop. The word chop comes from, if you've seen Chinese paintings, They have a red in a square-shaped Chinese symbol, which is the artist's signature, sort of. That's called a chop. I found a tortillon that had green on it already, and I'm using that to just blend some of the colors. And brushing off the what am I going to do with that centerpiece? I thought about coloring it in with a gold gel pen, but I did not. I just added a few more of those curved lines because it didn't look quite finished there, and then just colored the rest in. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this. Please check back and look at my other videos if you're interested in either Zentangle or card making. Hope to see you at the next video. Thank you for watching.